To understand the world today, we must often look back at the lines drawn on maps decades ago. The story of India, Pakistan, and Turkey is one such narrative, rooted in history, religion, and shifting global alliances. India is a vast secular democracy, a rising economic power with a diverse population of over 1 billion people. It is a civilization that prides itself on a long and complex history. Pakistan, born from the same subcontinent, was founded as a homeland for Muslims. Its identity is deeply intertwined with that of India, often defined by its opposition to its larger neighbor. This fundamental difference in their founding principles has been a source of friction from the very beginning. Further to the west lies Turkey, a nation that bridges Europe and Asia. Under its current leadership, Turkey has sought to project its influence across the Muslim world. It sees itself as a leader, a powerful voice for Islamic causes. This ambition has naturally led it to find common ground with Pakistan. Both nations share a majority Muslim population and a desire to play a more significant role on the international stage. This has created a geopolitical alignment that often puts them at odds with India's interests, creating a complex triangle of relationships that is constantly evolving. The dynamics are not static. They shift with changes in leadership, economic needs, and global events. The relationship between India and Pakistan is the central axis of this story. It is a bond forged in a common history under British rule, but severed by a violent partition. For over 7 decades, their relationship has been marked by suspicion, conflict, and a persistent inability to resolve core disputes. This has led to multiple wars and countless smaller skirmishes. The two nations are nuclear powers, which raises the stakes of any conflict to a global level. Every diplomatic move is scrutinized, and every border incident carries the weight of a painful and bloody history, making genuine reconciliation an incredibly difficult task. Turkey's involvement adds another layer to this intricate dynamic. While historically distant, its growing ties with Pakistan have brought it closer to the subcontinent's troubles. Turkey's support for Pakistan is not just about religious solidarity, it is also a strategic calculation. By aligning with Pakistan, Turkey gains a key partner in South Asia and strengthens its claim as a leader of the Islamic world. This has, in recent years, strained its relationship with India, which sees Turkey's stance, particularly on sensitive issues like Kashmir, as interference in its internal affairs. The result is a diplomatic puzzle where history, religion, and modern geopolitics intersect. The year 1947 is the most critical date in the modern history of South Asia. This was the year the British Empire departed, but not before it divided the land into 2 independent nations, India and Pakistan. This event, known as the Partition, was based on religious lines. Hindu majority areas largely went to India, while Muslim majority areas in the west and east formed Pakistan. The process was rushed, chaotic, and brutal. It triggered one of the largest mass migrations in human history, as millions of Muslims fled to Pakistan and millions of Hindus and Sikhs fled to India. The violence that erupted was horrific, leaving an estimated 1 million people dead and a scar of trauma on the collective memory of both nations. This violent birth created immediate and lasting hostility. Families were torn apart, and communities that had lived together for centuries were suddenly on opposite sides of a new, arbitrary border. The legacy of this division is a deep-seated mistrust that has poisoned relations ever since. For Pakistan, the partition was the fulfillment of its reason for being a state to protect Muslim interests. For India, it was a tragic division of a unified land. This fundamental disagreement over the very nature of partition continues to shape their national identities and their policies toward one another. It is the original wound from which many other conflicts have sprung. At the heart of the ongoing tension is the unresolved issue of Kashmir. When the British left, the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, with its Muslim-majority population but Hindu ruler, faced a choice. The ruler, Maharaja Hari Singh, initially wanted independence, but eventually acceded to India in October 1947 after an invasion by Pakistani tribesmen. This led to the First India-Pakistan War. The conflict ended with a UN-brokered ceasefire, leaving Kashmir divided between the two countries. Pakistan controls a portion known as Azad Kashmir, while India administers the larger part, including the populous Kashmir Valley. This division was meant to be temporary, pending a plebiscite that never happened. For both countries, Kashmir is more than just territory. It is a matter of national pride and identity. For Pakistan, the K in its name is said by some to stand for Kashmir, and it views the region's inclusion in India as an injustice and an unfinished part of the partition. For India, Kashmir is an integral part of its secular identity, proof that Muslims and Hindus can coexist within its borders. The dispute has led to three major wars, 1947, 1965, and 1999, and a continuous, low-intensity conflict involving insurgency and terrorism, which India accuses Pakistan of sponsoring. The Kashmir issue remains the single most dangerous flashpoint between the two nuclear-armed neighbors, a symbol of their enduring enmity. Turkey's relationship with the India-Pakistan conflict is a more recent, yet significant development. For decades, Turkey and India maintained cordial, if distant, relations. However, under the leadership of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey has pursued a more assertive foreign policy. This policy is aimed at re-establishing Turkey as a major power and a leader within the Muslim world. A key part of this strategy has been to build strong alliances with other influential Muslim-majority nations. Pakistan, with its large population and strategic location, became a natural and willing partner in this endeavor. The bond between them is often described as a brotherhood, rooted in shared religious identity and strategic goals. This deepening alliance has led Turkey to vocally support Pakistan's position on international platforms, most notably on the issue of Kashmir. President Erdogan has repeatedly raised the Kashmir dispute at the United Nations General Assembly, echoing Pakistan's narrative and calling for a resolution based on UN resolutions. This stance is a stark departure from the more neutral position Turkey held in the past. For Pakistan, this support is a major diplomatic victory, giving its claims a powerful international voice. For India, it is seen as unwelcome and biased interference in what it considers a domestic matter, leading to a significant cooling of relations between New Delhi and Ankara. The historical context for this alignment can be traced back to the Khilafat movement in the 1920s, when Muslims in British India, including those who would later form Pakistan, supported the Turkish cause to preserve the Ottoman Caliphate. This created a historical reservoir of goodwill that modern leaders have drawn upon. The relationship is not just rhetorical, it has expanded to include significant military cooperation. Turkey has become a major supplier of military hardware to Pakistan, including naval warships and attack helicopters. This defense partnership further solidifies their alliance and raises concerns in India, which sees it as a direct enhancement of its rival's military capabilities. In recent years, the India-Turkey relationship has become increasingly strained due to these developments. India has responded to Turkey's stance on Kashmir with its own diplomatic measures, including building closer ties with Turkey's regional rivals like Greece and Cyprus. While trade between India and Turkey continues, the political relationship is fraught with tension. Turkey's ambition to lead the Muslim world has placed it on a collision course with India's regional interests. The result is a relationship defined by a divergence of strategic perspectives, where Turkey's support for Pakistan has become a primary point of contention and a barrier to closer India-Turkey ties. As of today, the situation remains a complex stalemate defined by enduring tensions. The relationship between India and Pakistan is characterized by a lack of formal dialogue and a high level of military readiness along their border, especially the line of control in Kashmir. Small-scale clashes are frequent, and the risk of escalation is ever present. India's 2019 decision to revoke Article 370, which had granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir, further deepened the divide. Pakistan vehemently condemned the move, cutting diplomatic ties and suspending trade. For India, the action was a necessary step for integration and security. For Pakistan, it was a final betrayal of the Kashmiri people. Turkey continues to stand firmly with Pakistan. It uses international forums to advocate for the Pakistani perspective on Kashmir, often framing it as a human rights issue. This has cemented its role as Pakistan's most prominent international supporter outside of China. The strategic partnership between Ankara and Islamabad continues to grow, with ongoing collaboration in defense, trade, and diplomacy. This alignment serves both countries' interests. It gives Pakistan crucial international backing and helps Turkey project its influence far beyond its immediate neighborhood. This brotherhood appears solid, at least for the foreseeable future, as it is based on both ideological and practical foundations. In response, India has adopted a strategy of diplomatically isolating Pakistan on the issue of terrorism and strengthening its own global partnerships. It has successfully convinced many Western nations that the conflict in Kashmir is fueled by cross-border terrorism sponsored by Pakistan. Simultaneously, India has been managing its strained relationship with Turkey. While publicly expressing its displeasure with Turkey's statements, India has also sought to maintain economic and cultural ties, understanding that complete alienation is not productive. It is a delicate balancing act, pushing back against perceived interference while keeping channels of communication open for potential future engagement. The dynamic remains one of guarded interaction. In summary, the geopolitical triangle connecting India, Pakistan, and Turkey is fraught with historical grievances and modern ambitions. The core conflict between India and Pakistan, centered on the legacy of partition and the dispute over Kashmir, shows no sign of resolution. Turkey's assertive foreign policy and its strong alliance with Pakistan have added a new challenging dimension to this old rivalry. As of 2025, tensions remain high. While outright war is unlikely due to the nuclear deterrent, the region exists in a state of perpetual friction, a complex web of diplomacy, rivalry, and deep-seated mistrust that will continue to shape South Asian and global politics for years to come.